So yeah, as I was saying, how many fingers do I have? One, two, three. One, two.
Five.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But we talk about people having powers. But like, not that you have to believe in the theory, but like, if
I know. That's
just
what.
like all
That
the
was
wild,
kind of my idea. Remember?
all the wild theories. Like,
That was kind of my idea at first. I was talking about how like, what if we can like reincarnate it? Because you know how like
being old souls.
Yeah,
It's our
even
being
how
old
like
souls.
we live in like in between the new generation now and
the
old
generation.
souls. Yes.
Between technology
Yes.
and no technology.
Yes. So we
we're
kind
on the
of
line. We
yes.
got a taste of both sides.
Yeah, we kind of had that. We were taught both generations, kind of thing. Like we were. It's like
and that's how we got old souls, pretty much.
Yes, we live like how the old people used to live.
Yeah, so we have
respect.
respect.
That knowledge.
And we have the respect and
yes.
how to talk and communicate.
Mm-hmm. But now, and we can still operate technologies.
Yeah, and we can we can acclimate to new shit.
And yeah, we can.
But all the new generation, they only know the new shit. So old stuff is like
because really
technology.
it's like we kind of understand how those things were originally made.
Yeah, we know the evolution of technology,
yes.
so
mm-hmm.
having that knowledge of how it was before, we
exactly.
know why it works the way it does.
Yeah.
But we went from there, from old souls, and then like the idea of like someone dying like 30, 40 years ago, and then their soul was reincarnated and put into like my fetus. So I have the soul of like somebody in like the 70s or 60s.
Yeah.
And that's why I have like good respect and good mannerism and has a good respect and mannerism. Like talking to older people and like just know how to address people.
Right.
And that turned into people having powers.
Right. What if we have a power?
What kind of powers?
I mean, we don't know that. We don't know that because we didn't know how. It's kind of like it's a memory been erased.
It's just like something
not erased, but it's gonna come back soon, and
it's
you're
almost
gonna know
like
what those powers.
It's almost like a power. It's like laying dormant in our DNA. Like we
you,
have it in us, but we don't know how to access it.
Yes.
Or get to it where it came
or
from.
activate it.
But eventually we'll like grow and evolve enough to like start using it. And that's why I brought up the theory about like that was a thought like people did start using powers, talking telepathically, moving objects with their minds. And then like it was like the level of now, like our level of smartness versus like the dumb people in society right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then that like compared to like us being like the smart people in our society now, being the people that evolved to use their minds to move objects and talk telepathically. Mm-hmm. And the dumb people in society now are at our level of that same society. But they're the dumb ones compared to the ones using their minds.
So it upgrades.
So like all the smart people that were using telepathic thoughts and moving shit with their minds and stuff, they just built ships and just moved, and abandoned the planet and left it with like the village idiots, basically. Right? This is the theory.
Yeah, you know what? It's possible. It's very deep, though. Like, nobody, I don't know who has that same kind of mindset you have. But
we don't have to have the mindset.
I know, but it's just the idea. Like, how many people have ever thought about that when they're like high as fuck?
You never know. People sober thought about that shit.
There's few.
I bet. But just like theories, you know, like everything is between like religion or science. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like everybody tries to do like a science or a mathematical equation to disprove something that just kind of happened. So like just thinking the theories and talking about it is just fun. You don't gotta believe it.
Yeah.
Like the stoned ape theory.
Yeah.
That we evolved from monkeys.
No.
Well, this is the theory. But the stoned ape theory is that it was monkeys, and they were looking for food, and they flipped over cow shit, and found magic mushrooms, like the mushrooms, the psychedelic ones, and they ate that, and they evolved because it expanded their brains.
And became
Highly,
human.
yeah, highly unlikable, but hard to believe, but still, it's fun to think about, funny to think of the possibilities. Like maybe like the first evolutionary step from becoming monkey to human was they stopped pissing and shitting as they walk, and they took the time to stop and squat the shit or pee on a tree for decency.
Like get some like manners and.
Yeah, and then like the second step of evolution would be.
It's like their characters and manners and everything kind of goes along with the thing. It's like.
They start having like manners. They started seeing things like appropriate, what was rude, or like what was kind of like messed up, or like bothers. They started considering each other basically. How other primates.
However those hormones works and stuff, it kind of like.
That's the second step in evolution.
Change.
Second step was they probably stopped knocking females unconscious and raping them as monkeys to breed, or like forcing it, and started acting like they had to make the female monkey like them, and they had to like win them over, and that's why they started doing like the dominance and alpha thing. So that leads to the third step in evolution. The third step in evolution is shaving and grooming to make themselves more attractive and appealing to the females.
Yeah, but when you really think about how did they become smooth later on?
Well, like maybe it just became part of their DNA, like shaving all the time.
You don't think they?
Because they were.
You don't think they invented like some kind of like a medication?
They probably started waxing their stuff. They probably figured it out. Maybe a plant they ate that stopped it. Because you think about it, they're primates back then. They were probably like super ripped, like 8-pack abs, like cut. The monkeys are killing everything, climbing trees, and they start shaving. That's the third step in evolution. And after time goes by of them shaving all the time, their DNA saw that like they had to keep regrowing hair, so we should reproduce the next batch to grow less hair, so we're not wasting cells and stuff regrowing hair because they're going to keep cutting it off. So that's how they became hairless. And them stopping the squat and shit and stopping instead of like crapping while they walk or whatever, or climbing trees. The poos like falls in the documentaries. They started like stopping the crap, so they probably stopped walking with a slouch and started going upright because they weren't constipated. They were stopping and they were being. And I think that would be like the fourth step. Right?
And then how did they became, like, how did they know how to work out, like, build muscles?
They didn't have to. That was something that they wanted to build extra muscle. That's something we learned.
Yeah, but why is now like some people are fat, some people are skinny?
Because there went two different ways. There was people who got comfortable and got lazy because we invented like the money system and stuff, and some people didn't have to work. They had slaves, so they didn't have to do anything hard, and they just ate and lived good, and that became like the lazy DNA and the lazy generations. But the other half had to work the whole life.
Yeah.
And the monkeys didn't have to work out during evolution because they were already ripped. Because they were already like living in the woods,
they
in
look
the jungle.
buff already anyway.
Yeah, because
they
they're climbing
climbings,
trees.
Yeah.
And, they have to climb to get their food. And
yeah.
So like that was like the evolution.
So how? Okay. Well, what do you call that cat? Like the hairless cat. The one the ugly kind of cat. The one the people uses in Egyptians.
Like Mr. Bigglesworth and Austin Powers.
There's only one hairless cat, baby.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one they use in the movie. You remember Austin Powers?
Yes.
The comedy. Remember the bald guy?
Yeah.
He had the cat.
Yes,
the
yes,
cat.
I know. Anyways, what if the monkeys? They
fucked one of those cats.
Yeah, and that's why
the
some
hairless
of us,
DNA got in.
Yeah, to the next generation.
That's possible. knows with like certain species
Because
that
remember,
crossbreeded or.
if you look at those carved stone and stuff with the Egyptians and cats, they're so close. Like it's always in the household, so it's probably they made out with the cat. And
Like we were just talking about how like we got really like before now, how like our species as humans like were already like super smart and using powers, but all the smart ones left the planet to all the dumb ones. So all the dumb ones had to re-evolve. How do we know that before the smart ones left, before our species or our generation of species or whatever, or our history of our species, how do we know before they left they weren't already getting into like crossing DNAs? And they were putting like that kind of stuff, like the hairless cat, getting that, you know? Or like even with like amphibians, so they could breathe underwater for like an hour or two.
Maybe I don't know.
So that's like crazy. I never heard that idea before. I feel like I just created like a crazy ass idea but it's believable enough to like a good portion of the population.
Right?
That we were all smart and evolved before our time. All the smart ones left the dumb ones. All the dumb ones are us now that evolved to where we're at now. But all the ones that were smart before, they learned to cross DNAs. And like, you seen the last Predator movie? Remember the Predator? And they came to Earth looking for the guy, and it ended up being the son. And they wanted, the whole time Predator kills the strongest killer or predator on each planet. And they take their spine and skull. And they take the spine because of the DNA in the spine. And they splice it with their own DNA, so their next generation has traits from that. And then they came for the autistic kid because the autism with the memory and stuff.
Right.
But like, so what if that's what we did before our species or our history? What if the smart people that left us here did that with like a bunch of different animals, and then just like built ships and just like fucked off? Some of them were on the moon, watching, see what's going on. Translating to the ones that moved to Mars. That's some crazy shit.
It is. How many hours have we been talking? Oh my god, it's 12 hours.
You see the time? Oh, it's 12 minutes.
Go ahead and pause it. It's not coloring.
So, religion. It's weird.
Why?
Because
You're not cuddling me. You're like freaking on top of me.